Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing a long-term market update on Binance Coin. I'll talk about the most recent rally coming up to the range highs, retesting this zone around $340. We'll cover some weekly moving averages as well as the BNBBTC ratio and talk about Binance Coin's performance against Bitcoin and what we could potentially expect with this chart into, say, the next few months. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, I will leave a link to my Twitter page in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and check that out as well. I am fairly active over there with crypto content. So I do want to start off here on the weekly chart for BNB on the USD pair and discuss this general range that we have been consolidating ever since July of 2022. We've got the range lows and the support right around $260 and then the resistance at the range highs right around $340. And Binance Coin has basically just been oscillating from the range highs to the range lows to the range highs and just bouncing off support and bouncing off resistance. We did have a brief fake out right here in December coming back below the range, but once we reclaimed it, that was a sign that this was a fake out. We didn't see that fall through to the downside, and rather we're just reclaimed right back into the range, and we're still in this general zone, again, between 260 and 340. But now we're retesting the range highs for the third time. You can see that first retest in August, the second attempt in October, and then we're just sort of getting up to that level on this current weekly candle. And overall, this is a very bullish sign because typically when you get multiple retests, there is a higher likelihood that the next retest will eventually break because there's only so much resistance at the zone. There's only so many sellers willing to sell at $340. So we could obviously see some sort of breakout in this zone, especially if Bitcoin is able to maintain its strength, say bounce to the 24 to 25K region. That's going to drag a lot of the altcoins up with it, and Binance Coin could eventually see a breakout outside of this range. Now, this range is so significant, not just because we have been consolidating in this for several months, but it was also important all the way back here in this bull run. We bounced off that as support right here in September of 21. We held that as support for multiple months right here in the beginning of 2022. And ultimately, this is just a key inflection point where anywhere we were above it, we were sort of in this bull market territory. And once we broke below it, that was really the sign the bear market had progressed and that we were forming lower lows, entering this accumulation. So if we can break out above that, again, that will be a very significant sign, and especially looking to see if we can flip that into support. So as an illustration, that would look something like this, where we can close above it, flip it back into support where buyers are starting to step in at the zone. This becomes demand, and then from there, we could start to push higher towards some of these lower highs. And I'm going to be looking at this March lower high right around $450. And then if we can actually reclaim that, then we can look to some other lower highs like this one right here in August of 2021, around $540. But again, playing it level by level, we still have not broken out, and this is resistance until proven otherwise. Now, in terms of the weekly moving averages, I'm going to be specifically looking at the 50-week simple moving average, which is this blue line here. And you can see during a bear market, this has been a strong level of resistance. We had the rejection off it in January, more rejections throughout March, April, and even into May, just sort of riding under this bearish consolidation. And then eventually we started to have more and more retests right here towards the end of 2022. And we saw price basically fluctuate from above it back to below it. It didn't really serve as any strong resistance anymore. And we just see how the price no longer rejected off it. It was basically a neutral zone. The moving average was trending sideways. But now we have multiple weekly candle closes back above this. It's support, and we have it starting to slope back upwards. And this is really telling about the longer term momentum. We have the momentum sort of working in our favor to the upside now, with the weekly moving averages starting to trend up, price action closing and holding above this level, and again, retesting those highs from back here in October as well as August. So a lot of bullish signs developing here on this weekly chart. On the BNB/BTC ratio, I'm very bullish on this chart for the long-term time frame. When I zoom out here all the way, we basically had this big range of consolidation, the breakout from back here in August of 2022. We saw the continuation, and now we're basically just having this multi-month pullback, consolidating and cooling off this rally. And what I would consider to be just the first correction move, where we do have a longer-term continuation of this uptrend after the breakout. So it's sort of this pattern of having a breakout, consolidating, and then when we continued higher, we're just kind of coming back to correct and then continuing higher from there. And that's my stance on this, because I do think that breaking out of a multi-year long range, which was when we spent from May 2021 up until, again, that breakout point in August of 2022, when we broke out of this, it really signified that the longer term uptrend had been resumed because we exited the consolidation, we left this zone, we made a new all-time high, and we entered price discovery mode. So yes, we have been pulling back and correcting over the last few months. I did expect at some point we would retest the breakout point right around 1.2 million Satoshis. Whether that happens or not, I definitely think that we have seen enough of a cool down, enough of a correction where we can start to continue higher from here and we won't have this being too unsustainable. So overall, it looks fairly bullish, and I don't think that we have anything to be concerned about unless we're coming back and closing below the range highs at 1.2 million Satoshis. And just as an illustration, that would look something like this, where potentially we have the price coming back down to retest this, but if it doesn't hold as support and we close under it and consolidate, this is the bearish look that invalidates the breakout. And then at that point, this is just one big fake out. Again, not my primary look. I don't think this is the most likely scenario. I do have to favor the longer term breakout, but again, that is just sort of the risk. That's where this pattern is invalidated, and that's when this no longer looks bullish to me. Again, I do think that we are basically in this somewhat channel pattern and that we will eventually see a continuation back to the upside, make new all-time highs, and then when I zoom out here, just continue that longer term uptrend that we began from back here in January of 2021. And I think that we just needed a logical pullback to correct a little bit and give us a little bit more sustainability to this rally. But again, now that we have seen that correction, we are definitely in the clear for a continuation higher. So I hope you guys enjoyed the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. As always, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.